What's going on, everybody? Bryn here with another build video for you today, and it's something very different today. Any Monster Hunter fans out there? Because this is Rathalos. It used to be named Wyvern Fire, but I decided to really lean into the Monster Hunter. And he uses a little bit of tech that I've always wanted to use and just haven't found an excuse to, but we'll jump into that because it actually works quite well in this build. But jumping into the build itself, we have double bad cooks, the Flamethrowers. Of course, these do build up that ACS anomaly, which if anybody doesn't know what that does, it actually increases the amount of stagger damage that you take. So they don't do pretty much any stagger damage on their own, but they do build up that ACS anomaly, which I think the math comes out to somewhere close to doubling the amount of stagger damage that you take. I haven't done thorough testing on it. Maybe somebody in Cleric's Discord. Moving on to the tech that I've always wanted to use and just haven't quite found an excuse, but I needed some wings, and these actually work quite well, is the Pulse Shield Launchers. So if anybody hasn't used these, they shoot out a little round shield in front of you, which of course is great for the Flamethrowers because they can't see the shields, which is nice. There's just so much fire. They can't see them. It blocks damage coming in on you. But one interesting thing is that these actually create major ACS strain, resulting from interference with touching the shield. Essentially, if they touch the shield, or if you hit them directly with the projectile it shoots out, it does a ton of ACS strain. And I'll show you that before we even jump into the matches. But moving into the frame, we've got the Shade Eye, and it's just kind of all around. I needed something that didn't have too high of an Ian load, but that had, good stability, decent defense. It's really just all around a good head, and it fits nicely with the generators that we can run. You could switch it for a few different things, honestly. You can run almost any head that you want. I feel like I probably use the Varil on too many things, but it actually puts us overweight anyway, so we're using the Shade Eye. Moving into the core, we're using the Mind Alpha. Again, we wanted that all-around middleweight, kind of somewhat defensive, decent stability core, and these actually give us the generator adjustments that we need to be able to make this work. In the arms, we have the VP40S. Again, we're trying to stay nice and balanced here. Not that you need super high firearm specialization for the Flamethrowers, you could definitely go lower, but the Flamethrowers are actually quite heavy. And you'll see if we switch to other arms, there's a lot of them that are overburdened. I think if I was to switch arms, or if I was going to consider something else, it'd probably be the Ephemera. I've been really back and forth on them. I really went with the other ones just due to the slight increased Ian load of the Ephemera. But honestly, you could roll either way with that, the Ephemeras or the 46S. Or there's a few other options you could slot in there as well. For the legs, we're going to go the Howl. And there's not a ton of flexibility here if you keep the same kind of generator and weight setup. If you lightened it, there's a few other options you could probably go with, but outside of going with an actual heavy bipedal leg, the Howls are really where you want to be at with that kind of heavy, borderline middleweight. But they have good weight capacity, and again, just decent defense kind of all around, not the best stability. But the Howls get the job done. Moving into the boosters, we're going to have the NGI 001, and we're actually relatively heavy, coming in at about 85,000, so we needed something that has that really high quick boost reload ideal weight. That is a mouthful. So we needed something with a pretty high weight threshold there. There's not a ton of options. It's really the NGI. You could do, these are the other kind of consideration, right? The 600s. Good jet duration. I just felt overall slower, but you could certainly get away with it, and it has better quick boost consumption. You just don't go nearly as far, but it is an option for you. And you could also, of course, go with the Burzel, which is another great choice. It just, again, it doesn't have a ton of thrust as far as like distance and power goes. So I just felt that even though I could quick boost more, I wasn't really moving a whole lot. And we want to be able to really get in on our opponents. But I decided on the NGI 001. Moving into the FCS, we're just going to go with the Ocelus, that close range assistance is really all we need. If we're fighting outside of that, our flamethrowers really aren't hitting anyway, so we might as well really lean into that close range assist. Generator, we're going with the 20C, kind of tried and true, tested. If you prefer the coral generators, you could certainly equip like the NGI. Of course, the downside being that if you run out of energy, you're a little bit of a sitting duck there for 2 or 3 seconds while it recharges. The shields do help, though. You do have your shield launchers. You can use those as you fall to the ground to block incoming fire, let your generator recharge. It's certainly not a bad option, but the 20C is probably one of your better options as far as what you can fit. I really wanted to stick on the Santai. You can fit it if you change out your core, but you end up losing a lot of defense and stability in the process, and since we're so up close, it just didn't seem to work as well. That loss in stability and defense really just seemed to hurt us more than the Santai helped us. So there you go. And of course, moving into our expansion slots, we are going to go Assault Armor because we're going to be up and on top of them anyway. And again, the ACS status effect that the flamethrowers cause will cause additional buildup of that stagger meter. And I'm actually going to jump into testing here and show you guys what that looks like. Okay, we are here in the training room with our tester AC, and so for the shields and the stagger that they do, you want to be somewhere around that 85 meter mark. So you'll see you shoot it out, and it'll do, even just the one shot, does a whole bunch of ACS stagger to them. We're going to go ahead and reload our shields here. But if you flamethrow them, it'll actually really drastically increase that. So as you get that ACS stagger, or that ACS strain, you can see just 2 shots to the shield will stagger them from just totally empty. The range is a little bit tricky on that though. If you get in too close and you just hit them, it barely does anything. If you move out a little bit too far and you shoot it, it'll just create a shield in front of them. So you need to be, though when it goes off it does deal quite a bit. So right around that 80 mark is that sweet spot of where you want to be. But it does a ton of ACS damage, and he's not even strained anymore. He doesn't have that ACS strain. I don't know if we can get it before we kill him. Nope. Let's jump over here to the next one. So we'll flamethrow him for a second, and we'll move in. And you can see each bullet does just a ton. I didn't reload him before I came over. That is my mistake. But just a ton of ACS strain. So it's an interesting concept. It's both defensive and can be offensive as well. There's probably some other niche use for it as well. But the range on it is so difficult to get just right that I don't know if it'll ever be entirely practical. But it's great in PvP with the flamethrowers specifically, because you can just pop one out and they can't even see where the shield is, what direction it's facing, and your flamethrowers, of course, go right through it. But with that, let's jump into some multiplayer. Okay, we're up against Deathy here. Some coral stuff going on. The drones. I do hate the drones. We'll see what we can do. I also don't really care for Grid 012. I just kind of find it an obnoxious map, honestly, but that's fine. Whatever. Let's get in here. All about getting the timing down for those drones. Oh, my shields are on recharge. Come on, come back up. Every time he comes in to blade me. Mention that I hate the drones. Drop below that. You can see the shields stagger him there and win. You have to be real close for those shields to stagger, but it definitely works. But it's great to punish people who come in for melee attacks. Absolutely not. Overheated my flamethrowers. That's fine. Oh no, he's gonna get me on this one. Yep. Got staggered by those drones. That's close though. Round 3. Couldn't quite get him with my shields on that one. There he is. Shields up. Oh, it got me. Got such a high arc on its attack. Oh no, got the stagger. Can I get the win? Oh, yes, yes. 289. Ooh. That was so close. I wasn't actually sure who killed who for a hot second there. Oh, nice job, Deathy. Nice job. Okay. See, he's also using shields. What? I've literally never seen them in multiplayer until I use them. Shield launcher, new meta. Let's do this thing. Gonna be shields everywhere. Have to be careful not to bump into his. We'll withdraw. Let our flamethrowers charge back. It's just shields everywhere. No, my shields are on cooldown. If we can stagger him. No luck. I don't even know which one of these are mine anymore. Such a struggle. There we go. We got the win. There's so many shields. What is happening? Nope, not going in on those. No thank you, my guy. Oh, blade. We both shielded. Not touching that. Oh. Need some energy. Oh, I got the kick. I knew he'd come in. Oh. Okay, okay. Oh, we killed each other. I think that gives me the match then. Did we both bait out each other's assault armors? That's pretty good. Good job, RU. So that is going to be it for this video. I'm not going to do a 3v3. Again, this one I really made to go one-on-one. The shield launchers don't do a whole lot when there's people coming in from multiple sides. You can try to pick somebody off, but it's really just not meant for 3v3. So I'm just going to show you the 2 matches today. And again, if you want any of the custom decals, custom coloring, anything like that, it is available in my Discord to the YouTube members. Otherwise, there are all the parts for you. It's a lot of fun. I wouldn't say it's the most meta thing by any stretch of the imagination, but I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.